Welcome back, Chula Vista, to the Senior Roundtable. Today we are sitting once again with California State Senior Legislature Representative Mr. Luis Monge as we continue our series and as we talk about our senior population. Luis, welcome back.
Thank you so very much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
It is a busy time for all of us, especially I'm sure at the state capitol. And as we start looking at how we've been dealing with the pandemic for the last year, we're starting to see the vaccine roll out, and now we're starting to think post-pandemic. Now we're trying to get back to the normal routine of life, but today we want to concentrate on our health and fitness, which is something that we constantly need to do, regardless of age, but so much more important right now with everything that has been going on in the last year. But I wanted to touch on the South Bay. I wanted to touch on the city of Chula Vista, and as a senior center director, some of the issues that I've seen. And one of them is the education when it comes to fall prevention, our health and our fitness, Alzheimer's and dementia, the things that are haunting us and our senior population, the suicide rate going up. We need to start looking at how we're getting this information out to our South Bay families. What have you seen culturally, being the difference between a lot of different cities in the state, but primarily let's talk South Bay. Let's talk about that culture and how it's affected.
Well, it seems to me that the difference between the Anglo culture and our the minority cultures are that we have a different view of how we enjoy life, and in a sense, we put a lot of emphasis on enjoying ourselves, our family gatherings and what have you, which is wonderful for socializing and everything else. But a lot of these events that we take place, we have a tendency to engulf ourselves in a lot of the food that is available and not take into consideration the fact that eating more than your body needs it's a good thing to do, because if you look around, you go to the grocery store, you go to the different places of gathering, you see that a lot of younger people are overweight, and at this stage in their life, it seems to me that when they're reach their 50s, they're going to be in a situation with, this diabetes thing, heart problems, you name it. There's a lot of these situations that will take place because we're not paying attention to our diet. Our diet is the most critical thing in order to keep our body healthy. And one of the things is overeating. It's just not the way to go, or drinking too much, alcoholic, or smoking too much, and all these other things. We need to make amends and listen to what some of these health directors or people in the health business are saying, that we need to get a good diet, we do exercise, and we do interacting and socializing, but they have to be moderate eating habits. Overeating is not the way to go, and it seems to me that this is one of the things that the cultural differences between the Anglo community and the minority communities is totally different. It seems to me that the Anglo community is taking care of their bodies a lot better than we have, and because they probably see that their health situation is more important than socializing. Although they do socialize and do things that are very important in order to be able to have a healthy mind, a healthy environment, socializing and what have you. But our people in the minorities are not doing that part in keeping themselves nutrients and well fed. And overeating is a bad habit, and hopefully in the very near future, people will listen and start paying more attention to what their needs are for staying healthy and so forth, so that do away with a lot of these things that are not necessarily healthy for you, and try to eat as much fruits and vegetables, fresh fruit, fresh vegetables. For instance, instead of buying a can of corn, buy a couple of ears of corn, cook them, cut them up, whatever you can, and they're a lot healthier because, a can of corn, it's got chemicals that are going to start, that hurt your system. And actually, and if you get in the habit of buying cans, it's very simple to change that habit buy fresh vegetables, you cook them, and you eat them, and you eat them fresh out of the cooking pot, and not out of a can. Eating out of a can is not the way to go. So hopefully you would try to make amends and try to change your habits. Every now and then it might be okay to do this, but not as a habit, or as a general habit of eating out of cans and frozen foods and all those foods that are frozen and that sort of thing. It's just not the healthy food to eat. Try to eat as much as fresh food as you can, vegetables, fresh meat, and so forth. That is the one way of addressing this situation. This problem of overeating and overweight is very serious in our mining communities.
And you bring up some great points here with how our daily routine is so important, and it could be so convenient to go to the grocery store, or cost effective, because we know how limited we are as a senior. When you're on Social Security, a check is $1,100, $1,200, and you have to stretch that to the best of your ability. Now, can you give us a glimpse of your daily routine? What are some things that you are doing to stay proactive, keeping your health at the forefront?
Well, basically, I get up in the morning around 7:30 late. I make a pot of coffee, bring my coffee, and go outside, look around, and see how my garden is looking. I see if ahead they need to be watered, need to be pruned. I need to do certain things, maybe, taking care of whatever needs that they have. I do not use any chemicals on my fruits. The only thing that I use for my mango tree is a chemical, not necessarily a chemical, but it's a nutrient that comes out of the kelp oil, which is made here in San Diego, and it's organic, and it doesn't have any chemicals. So that's about the only one plant that I use, or tree that I use chemicals. And all my fruit, I would have to say it's organic, because I don't use any chemicals to take care of my fruits and vegetables. And my garden, my plants and so forth, I just keep them watered and try to keep them nice and wet, so that whenever the weather is hot, and the water evaporates quickly. And I keep them, I look around, and by the time I get all these tasks out of the way, it's about time for lunch. And I go out there and prepare my lunch, take the trash out, mow the lawn, all kinds of things that I do. And they keep me busy. Before I know it, the day is gone. And at the end of the day, I do get tired. And when I end that task, I go to the computer, I check my computer for messages, for things that are of interest. If they're not interested, I just wipe them out. I read a magazine. I do not read the paper every day, because in the computer I can read the paper if I desire. But I'm not much of a paper reader other than on Sundays. And it's always good to go outside and say hi to your neighbors, go around the block if you can, do a little exercise, although I do plenty of exercise in my yard. But nonetheless, a little exercise is not going to hurt, And being friendly to your neighbors, it pays good dividends. All of my neighbors, I have wonderful neighbors, and they're all very helpful, and I'm very blessed.
Well, Luis, you bring up some great points when it comes to staying proactive, keeping your health and fitness in mind. I think you're doing a lot more exercise than I am, but that's a great way to just stay active, and also neighborly. You bring up some great points.
It's wonderful.
Isolation, we've been hit pretty hard during this pandemic. But let's talk about, I want to talk to you about an issue that I see as a senior center director that I'm comparing with my colleagues up in, let's say, northern San Diego. Down here in the South Bay, I can have a social event with a hall full of 150 seniors having a great time. But the minute I want to start talking about the health, I want to start talking about Alzheimer's and dementia, how 1 in 3 seniors will be suffering from this. We start talking about isolation, bereavement, anything that is an important issue. I'm getting about 5 seniors in a chat.
They'll leave.
And so I see that, but it's a grave concern for me, because I see that we're not educating our senior population in the South Bay. What are some things that you can recommend for our community to stay proactive, and why there is possibly a difference between northern and southern San Diego?
Well, one of the things that we've got to keep in mind that the people in North County are better informed because probably they're on a higher income level. They're more concerned about what goes around them, and when they get to a certain age, they want to find out what's available to them when they reach that age. Not necessarily there, but before they get that age, they want to find out what's for them when they reach that age. Whereas in the South Bay, we get to 65 and we wonder, what am I going to do now? I mean, we need to understand that there's a lot of needs when you're a senior. You know, people fall, people need help, people are isolated, and if you don't know how to address these needs, you're going to be suffering a lot more than what you should be doing. Because one of the things that we need to know is we need to ask questions about some of the concerns that we have. If you don't ask, you don't get to Rome. If you want to get to Rome, you need to ask, and then especially whatever you need you're going to have, don't be afraid to ask. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. Don't be afraid. Why be afraid? Nobody knows all the answers. There's no one person in the world that knows all the answers. Even Einstein didn't know all the answers. So why shouldn't we be concerned about why don't I know all the answers? We don't have to know all the answers. The reason that we need to do is be concerned and be able to ask those questions that are going to be very helpful to us in order to make our senior life or disabled or isolated life more comfortable and be able to understand what the needs are, how we can get them, who's going to be able to help you. Be good with your neighbor. You'll be amazed. There's a good neighbor. There's not a nasty neighbor. All neighbors are good. Sometimes, you need somebody, and it's amazing that even though you never talk to this neighbor and you ask him, he will be more than pleased to assist you. And if he can assist you, he will direct you to someone that might be able to help you. Feel free to ask. Asking questions is the way to learn. It's one of the things that we need to ask. And when we are very shy about asking direction and so what to do with certain situations that we need to ask someone that really knows what the answers are. So my recommendation is don't be afraid to ask. Whoever you need to ask, go to an agency, call 211. 211 is one mechanism or one phone number that you can call, and they literally answer every question that you might have. So please feel free to ask and be good to your neighbor, because your neighbor might be the one to save you.
Absolutely. And I think now that we start looking at our lives post the pandemic, it's very important for everybody to know of programs and services. I think one of the things that has been largely highlighted has just been the disconnect between generations and how important it is to stay connected and communicate. It sounds like you do that very well in your little realm of the world there.
Well, I've been around, and I've learned that if you don't get involved, you're going to find out what's in the community, your state, your city, your country. You need to be informed to be able to understand all of the situations that are taking place, so that you're able to respond and feel comfortable with the situation. We have wonderful people addressing a lot of these needs, and then these people are dying to help you. And if you are out there isolated and don't want to ask questions, you're gonna be benefiting for some of these programs. And these programs are, we've taken years and years and years to come up with a situation and programs that would really help the senior, disabled, and veteran communities throughout up and down the state and countrywide. And without these programs, the senior community would be in shambles, just like it used to be 40, 50 years ago. Seniors were isolated in a sense because they were afraid, because they were seniors, they didn't belong in society anymore. This is the other way around. We are under control, and if we stay together, we can legislate and tell these legislators exactly what needs to be done in order for our senior community to be able to thrive and survive and succeed in our last years of our lives.
Let's echo the importance to the audience. Let's echo the importance of programs, activities, whether it be coming for an exercise class, or playing simple cards with your friends. Let's echo the importance that seniors need to get out of their house.
It's very important that you totally get out of that house. Don't be a hermit. Hermits are not the way to go. You want to be a happy person, you want to enjoy life, get out of the house, go to a senior center. You might not have been to a senior center ever because you say a bunch of seniors or a bunch of old people, but let me tell you, there's a lot of fun people in the senior communities. It's amazing what you can learn, and you might want to try coming once and see all the things that are available to you, and you're going to say, I wish I'd been here. My God, look, I didn't know what these had, these other different things going on. But now that you come, you've stepped inside, you know what it's like, and you're going to become addicted to some of these programs and some of these good events and things that are being put up by people that are really dedicated and committed, so that your later years are the most wonderful years of your life. And I hope you enjoy and come on down. And as soon as these places are open, please come on down, give it a try, and you're going to love it. Thank you, and enjoy the day.
Absolutely, and I want to add that for a long time we've probably heard the term senior and had some sort of negative connotation to it. It is not. You should be proud to be a senior. I know Luis is very proud.
You better believe it. I'm a very proud senior.
He is a youthful senior.
Damn right.
And now here's my chance to plug this, what the city of Chula Vista does, because we have a state-of-the-art outdoor fitness area with the equipment that is designed for seniors.
Perfect.
We have a fully renovated facility that is extremely beautiful. We made all of the accommodations for senior life when it came to the restrooms, but the way you were coming in and out of the building, the furniture that is here. And like you said, we have anything from a book club, we have a singing group, we have exercise classes, we have dances, because seniors, nobody can party like a senior. I
you
can
got
tell
it.
you that. And that is what we want to have, a facility that has everything that you need, a one-stop shop, and we still have many more things that we want to accomplish, but we need you guys to do what Luis is saying, because it is getting out of your house, it is enjoying one another, and it is keeping your health and nutrition at the forefront, because we want to be able to enjoy this part of our life.
Of course, there's nothing like coming out here, checking it out, find out what your concerns are, or what you have it, or whatever you have. Come down, give it a try. You got nothing to lose. The losers are the ones that stay isolated and hermit. And this is not the way to go. In order to be a nice, retirement, later life, the last few years of your life, come on down and enjoy with people your age. Being a senior doesn't mean that you can go out there and have fun. Having fun is something that is within you, and I think that these senior centers are the wonderful thing that government has come up with, and these senior centers are great places to come, enjoy, and make new friends, learn something or other, read books or whatever, and it's fantastic. Come on down, check your senior center, and hopefully they will be opening soon, probably somewhere around the middle of the year, but just keep it in mind. Come on down and check it out, and you're going to love what you see here. And I'm sure that being isolated is not the way to go. Thank
Absolutely
you.
not, and you heard it from the man himself. Come on down to Norman Park Senior Center here at the city of Chula Vista, and we will take care of you, and you'll have some fun. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Luis.
Thank you so much.
We're going to be continuing our chat with Luis.
I'm delighted to be here.
And next week, make sure that you join us, as we're going to be discussing hospice care and how that might be an important part
Definitely.
For your situation.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely. Very good.